2025 Carabao Cup Final was played today at Wembley Stadium in London between Liverpool and Newcastle United. Liverpool, runaway leaders of the Premier League, being dumped out of Europe, wanting to complete a double this season. Newcastle, meanwhile, they haven't had a major honour domestically in 70 years before this, and it's been a very long time since they won any kind of major trophy at all. So could the Geordie boys overcome the Culture Club at Wembley Stadium today to win their first silverware in a very, very long time, and the first, of course, under Eddie Howe as well? Well, the short answer to that is yes, but the longer answer is our 5 things that we learned from the EFL Cup Final, guys. You know how we do here on the footballchronicle.com. What a match this was. The first domestic cup final of the season here in England did not disappoint at all. So let's dive in with some of the main talking points from this. The 5 things that we learned. So, like I said, of course, Newcastle did come out of this one as the team that were on top. They did win this game, of course, and win the silverware. The first time they ever won the Carabao Cup, of course, as well. They never won this before, which is incredible. It's their first time they've actually scored too since the year 2000 at Wembley. They've not scored at the new Wembley Stadium at all, despite quite a few trips there over the years. And of course, who was it to score their first goal in 25 years at the National Stadium? Alexander Isak, one of the major players. Who was it going to be? Well, it was Dan Burn, the local lad, released by Newcastle United at, 11, 13 years, something like that, playing for the likes of Darlington, Blythe Spartans up in the northeast, and eventually making his way back to Newcastle. What a week it's been for him, getting his first ever England call-up as well, being a part of Thomas Tuchel's first side for the Three Lions. It's incredible. But the main thing for him is that he will lift the Carabao. But yeah, of all players popping up with a goal just before half-time. Incredible stuff. Newcastle were rampant as well. I mean, like I said, they did deserve this. This was not a fluky win at all. Liverpool dominated the possession in this one, as you kind of expect, but Newcastle was so effective on the counter-attack. And we saw some of this as well in the, not reverse fixture, but the fixture in the Premier League earlier in the season at St James's Park when these two played each other. It was a 2-2 draw, I think. I know it was a draw. I remember that. But, you know, incredible stuff. They did score just after half-time as well, but it was chalked off for offside, which was a bit of a dodgy call. I don't really understand that properly, but it was given for offside, which I assume was probably the correct decision. You'd like to think so with VAR. As the in-stadium announcement was made as well, something they're trialling in the EFL Cup, something they should bring in as standard across the Premier League, I believe. We need that communication between the on-field referee and the people in the stands. The people in the stands should not be less clued up than the people at home. That is not... The people who actually go in and invest in that much money in an afternoon or an evening for a match, they should not be left in the dark effectively with that. But it didn't take long for Newcastle to get the second one. Alexander Isak with an absolute each of a goal, and they were such a threat, Newcastle, through this game. Like I said, they dominated the chance creation, and Liverpool with only 2 shots on target, one of which they scored, which I will talk about very shortly. But Newcastle with 6 shots on target and 17 in total. They absolutely deserved this win, did the Geordie boys. But it looked as though it was going to be a relatively comfortable end to the game. Liverpool were throwing everything they had at Newcastle, and when Chiesa took the ball in the net, they thought they might have a glimmer of hope with 94 minutes on the clock. There were 8 minutes of time added on at the end of the game, but despite the on-field decision, VAR took a look at it, and it looked as though Chiesa was indeed onside. So Liverpool made it 2-1. It was very nervy in the closing stages, but like I said, Newcastle did hold on in the end to get their first silverware of any kind. When was the last one? Let me have a look. I always hear it was a European honour, which some people might not even call a major honour, but the Intercity Fair Cup in 1969. Nice. It was the last time that the Toon Army lifted any kind of major silverware. It's the first time they've won the EFL Cup in their history. The last time they won a domestic honour was the FA Cup back in 1955. You'd have to be over 80 years of age to remember that actually happening. So incredible. The vast majority of Newcastle fans will never remember their club winning something like that. And I know some people will say, oh well, you know, this is the Saudi investment, this is just another state investing in a club, and you know, and all this and that. And I get the controversies, I do, and I agree with them, I really do as well. But you know what, from a purely footballing point of view, it's nice to see somebody else win a major honour in England, isn't it? It's nice to see someone that's not the big six. I'd be say, well, big five really, because Spurs don't win anything either, do they? So, but Newcastle have done it. You know, I'm watching now. I've got on my second screen here. I can see them climbing up Wembley. I mean, Bruno Guimaraes as well. I mean, he was saying this was the best day of my life. I'm not even sure if I covered 5 things. I've just talked about the game for about 5 minutes. So that's why you guys tune in, isn't it? That's what you want to see. So yeah, congratulations to Newcastle. They played their socks off. It's great to see someone else win a major honour. We've got a variety in there at the end of the day. You know, we've got Newcastle. You've got Liverpool who are going to win the Premier League. You know, possibly somebody like Arsenal maybe win the Champions League. That's not going to happen, isn't it? But you know, Liverpool aren't in there. I mean, you know, we're probably. I mean, again, you can say it's variety. You can say it's not, but at least it's somebody else. You know, that's not won something this season. It's probably going to be Man City that win the FA Cup. So yeah, you know, interesting stuff there. And yeah, someone else. You know, it was a really enjoyable game. The atmosphere was absolutely electric. Northeast versus Northwest. You love to see it. Incredible stuff. And yeah, Newcastle break their trophy duck. They break their Wembley curse. Yeah, and they've done it. You know, I am so happy for the likes of Alan Shearer, who was of course celebrating in the boxes there. You know, he was not in his boxes, in the VIP boxes. Let me just clarify. Although there were a lot of Newcastle fans with their tops off at the end of the game. You know, tropical climate down south compared to the northeast and the north of England. So yeah, fantastic stuff for them. I am so happy for them. It would have been a bit dull, let's be honest here. It would have been nice to see Arne Slot get his first honour as Liverpool manager, but he'll do that at the end of the season anyway when they win the Premier League. So all is well in the end. So yeah, very happy for Newcastle. Your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of this game? Let us know your thoughts as always. And yeah, I hope you had a fantastic weekend. And if you are out on the town as a Newcastle fan, whether you're up in the northeast, whether you're down south in London celebrating this one, I hope you have a great time. The images of Newcastle fans taking over the capital city have been absolutely fantastic to see. You love to see at the end of the day. I love to see it. See you soon here on the Football Chronicle for much more review content on the world of football just like this.